Lena walked slowly through the quiet halls of the Orbital Museum. The place was nearly empty, with only the faint hum of the life support system filling the silence. She loved coming here during her free hours. The museum was old, forgotten by most visitors, and tucked away above a small mining colony. Its shelves held things that no one cared to study anymore: broken statues, fragments of old metals, shards of pottery taken from ruins across the stars. To Lena, however, these forgotten pieces spoke louder than the crowded city markets or the bright screens of the colony. She stopped near a section where large crates were stacked against the wall. Most were sealed, waiting for someone to open and catalog them. The curators rarely bothered, claiming there were too many crates and not enough time. Lena bent down and brushed the dust from one box. The markings on its surface were faded, yet the symbol carved into the corner caught her attention. It was not from any alien script she recognized. It looked almost like a human hand, open and curved, as if holding something invisible. Her curiosity grew stronger. She fetched a small tool from her satchel and carefully broke the seal. The lid slid open with a groan, releasing a dry scent of old air trapped for centuries. Inside, wrapped in layers of faded cloth, rested a mask. Its surface gleamed faintly even under the dim museum lights. The mask was golden in color, not polished but warm, like sunlight captured in metal. Strange symbols curled across it in flowing lines. Lena's heart beat faster. She had seen many artifacts before, but this one felt different. She reached in and lifted it gently. The mask was heavier than it appeared, cool against her skin. The moment her fingers touched the surface, she froze. A faint sound filled her mind. At first, she thought it was her imagination, but then the sound sharpened into a whisper. "Can you hear me?" Lena gasped and almost dropped the mask. She looked around quickly, but the room was empty. No one else was there. She held the mask closer, her hands trembling slightly. The whisper came again, clearer this time, soft and strange, yet it spoke in her own language. "You found me." She swallowed hard. Artifacts did not talk. Machines could be programmed, yes, but this mask had no wires, no circuits. It was pure metal, carved with care. Still, the voice was real. "Who are you?" she whispered, though she felt foolish for speaking to an object. The mask gave no answer this time. The whisper faded into silence, leaving only the steady hum of the museum. Lena stared at it for a long while, her mind racing with questions. Was she imagining it? Was it some kind of recording hidden deep within the metal? But how could it speak her language so perfectly, as if it had known her all her life? She wrapped the mask back in its cloth and placed it carefully in her satchel. If anyone else found it, they might lock it away or sell it to collectors. She had to study it herself. The thought filled her with both excitement and unease. On her way out, she passed the main hall where the head curator, an old man named Rallan, was adjusting displays. He noticed her bag and raised an eyebrow. "Working late again, Lena?" he asked with a tired smile. "Just cataloging some old crates," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "Nothing important?" Rallan chuckled. "Nothing important is the story of this place." He turned back to his work, leaving her free to slip away. Back in her small quarters, Lena placed the mask on her desk. She studied it under brighter light, tracing the strange markings with her eyes. The patterns twisted in ways that made her vision blur if she stared too long. She wondered if they were words or if they were meant only as decoration. As she leaned closer, the whisper returned. "Do not be afraid." Her breath caught. This time the voice was softer, almost kind. It did not feel mechanical. It felt alive, like someone speaking across a great distance. "What are you?" she whispered back. "I am a memory," the mask said. "I have waited." "For who?" "For you." Lena sat back in her chair, stunned. The mask was not only speaking but answering her questions. 1,000 thoughts stormed through her mind. Could this be some kind of translator from an ancient race? Could it be a guide? Or was she losing her sanity from too many late nights in the archives? The mask seemed to sense her doubt. "You are human," it said gently. "Only you can hear me." Her skin prickled. She remembered that the museum often received items from alien dig sites, but none had ever spoken directly to her. None had ever cared who held them. This mask was different. "What do you want from me?" she asked carefully. "Listen," the mask whispered. "There are secrets hidden beyond the stars. The builders left them behind, waiting for one who could understand. Follow my voice, and you will find what others could not." Lena felt both fear and wonder. She was only a young historian, not a great explorer or a leader. Yet the mask had chosen her. She thought of all the alien scholars who had searched for answers across the galaxy. None of them had heard this voice. But she had. She knew then that her life was about to change. Still, a small part of her wanted to hide it away and forget what she had heard. The galaxy was full of rival powers and hungry collectors who would do anything for a treasure like this. If the mask truly held secrets, they would stop at nothing to take it. But the whisper came again, calm and steady. "Do not fear. You are not alone. The journey begins with you." Lena closed her eyes and breathed slowly. She had no idea where this path would lead, but deep inside she felt a spark she had never felt before. It was not just curiosity. It was destiny. She looked at the mask one last time before the lights dimmed in her quarters. The golden surface reflected her own face back at her, but in the reflection, her eyes looked sharper, as if a hidden strength had awakened. The mask was waiting. And Lena knew she would follow. The morning cycle on the orbital station began with soft chimes echoing through the quarters. Lena woke to the faint sound, but her mind was already restless. She had barely slept. The golden mask sat on her desk, gleaming faintly under the pale light. Even when silent, it seemed alive, as if it was watching her with eyes it did not have. She dressed quickly and sat before it, her hands folded nervously. For a long moment, she only stared. Then she whispered, "Are you still there?" The reply came at once, soft and steady. "Yes. I am always here when you call." Her heart raced. The voice was not a dream. It was real. "What do you want me to do?" she asked. The mask's whisper grew stronger, as though carried on a breeze she could not feel. "Learn. Trust me. I will show you what was hidden." Lena hesitated. She was only a historian, not a soldier or a leader. She was used to reading dusty records and arranging forgotten items in neat shelves. The thought of being part of something larger frightened her. Yet the voice had chosen her. That fact alone filled her with a strange kind of courage. She lifted the mask carefully. The moment her skin touched the golden surface, she felt a pulse, almost like a heartbeat. Her vision blurred, and for a second the walls of her small room melted away. She was standing in a vast hall of stone, lined with statues. The statues were tall and graceful, their faces carved in detail, and many of them looked almost human. A voice echoed through the hall, not from the mask but from everywhere at once. "This is memory. The builders left their mark, waiting for those who would come after. Others tried, but they were not ready." Lena turned in awe. She reached out to touch one of the statues, but her hand passed through it like mist. The hall was not real. It was an image, a memory carried inside the mask. "Why me?" she asked quietly. The whisper answered, close to her ear again. "Because you can hear. Because you are human." Before she could ask more, the vision faded. She was back in her small quarters, the mask heavy in her hands. She set it down quickly, her breath unsteady. She knew now that the mask was far more than a relic. It carried knowledge, and it wanted her to follow. Later that day, Lena could not keep her mind on her duties. She was supposed to record minor findings from other crates, but her thoughts kept drifting back to the mask. She tried to appear calm when Rallan passed by, but her nervous glances did not escape him. "You look troubled," the old curator said kindly. "Did you find something interesting yesterday?" Lena hesitated. She wanted to tell him, but something inside warned her not to. She forced a smile. "Just the usual. Broken pieces of pottery. Nothing special." Rallan chuckled. "Then you worry too much. Go home early, child. Dust will not run away." She nodded and left, her mind heavy with the weight of her secret. Back in her quarters, she lit a small lamp and faced the mask once more. She whispered, "If you want me to follow, then show me where to go." The mask glowed faintly, and the whisper came, clear and calm. "There is a place beyond the trade routes. A world hidden by storms. I will guide you there. But you cannot go alone." Lena frowned. "I do not have a ship. I do not have a crew. How can I go?" The whisper grew softer, almost like a sigh. "You will find those who will help. Trust your path." The next days passed in restless planning. Lena began speaking with a few explorers who sometimes visited the station. Most of them ignored her, dismissing her as a scholar with wild dreams. Yet one listener remained curious, Aaron, a quiet pilot known for taking odd jobs across the colonies. They met in the mess hall, where he sipped plain tea while watching the passing ships through the wide glass window. Lena sat across from him, clutching her satchel. "You said you know routes no one else dares to fly," she began nervously. Aaron looked at her with calm eyes. "I know dangerous places. But I also know they are dangerous for a reason." "Why do you ask?" Lena hesitated. She could not speak of the mask openly. Instead, she said, "I found something. A clue to an old world. I need a pilot who is willing to risk storms and silence." Aaron studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "You believe this is worth the risk?" "Yes," she said firmly, surprising herself with her own certainty. "Then I will listen," he replied. That night, Lena returned to her quarters and placed the mask gently on her desk. "I found someone," she whispered. The mask replied, its voice faint but pleased. "Good. The path begins. Soon you will see what others could not." She touched the golden surface, and again her vision blurred. This time she saw stars, countless stars spread across the black. Lines of light connected some of them, forming a map. In the center of the map was a red circle, pulsing like a heartbeat. "That is where you must go," the whisper said. Lena studied the star map carefully, trying to memorize the patterns. She felt the weight of the journey pressing upon her, yet also a spark of excitement. She was no longer just a student of the past. She was stepping into a story that had waited for her kind. When the vision faded, she sat in silence, her heart steady. The mask had awakened, and with it, so had she. Far away in the silent corridors of the museum, the unopened crates stood like forgotten guardians. Among them, other relics waited quietly, their secrets untouched. But only one had spoken, and it had chosen Lena. The path was set. The journey had begun. The hangar bay was alive with noise as ships came and went, carrying goods and travelers across the colonies. Lena stood at the edge, clutching her satchel close to her chest. Inside the satchel, wrapped in cloth, was the golden mask. She felt its weight pressing against her side, a constant reminder of the choice she had made. Aaron arrived a few minutes later, walking with the calm stride of someone who had spent more time in space than on the ground. He was not the kind of pilot who boasted loudly in the mess halls or decorated his jacket with symbols of past voyages. He was quiet, steady, and unshaken by the chaos around him. "You are ready?" he asked simply. Lena nodded. "As ready as I can be." He motioned for her to follow. Together they crossed the hangar toward his ship. It was not large, more a survey vessel than a warship, but it looked strong and well kept. Its hull bore scars from past journeys, yet every mark seemed like proof of survival rather than weakness. Inside, the ship smelled faintly of metal and oil. The control panels glowed with soft lights, and the hum of the reactor filled the cabin. Aaron moved to the pilot's seat while Lena sat behind him, still holding her satchel. "Where are we going?" he asked, his tone curious but cautious. Lena hesitated. She could not tell him everything, not yet. Instead, she said, "A world hidden by storms. It lies beyond the regular trade routes. I have a map, but it is not like any you have seen." Aaron raised an eyebrow but did not press further. "Then show me the map." Lena carefully opened her satchel and lifted the mask. Its golden surface glimmered in the cabin lights. Aaron frowned slightly. "That is your map?" he asked. "Not exactly," Lena whispered. She pressed her fingers against the mask, and immediately a faint glow filled the cabin. Lines of light stretched outward, forming a map of stars in midair. Aaron leaned forward, eyes narrowing as he studied the pattern. "That is not from any archive I know," he muttered. "And I know most of them." "The mask showed me," Lena said softly. "This red circle is our destination." Aaron looked at her with quiet seriousness. "I will take you there. But you must tell me something. Why does it show only you? Why not anyone else?" Lena met his gaze, unsure how much to reveal. At last she said, "Because it speaks to me. Only me." For a long moment, Aaron did not reply. Then he nodded. "Then I will trust you. But you must also trust me." She gave a small smile, grateful for his steady nature. The engines roared to life, and the ship lifted from the hangar floor. Through the viewport, the station shrank into the distance until it was only a speck of light. Beyond it stretched the endless black of space, filled with stars. Lena's heart raced with a mix of fear and wonder. The journey began smoothly. They followed trade routes at first, avoiding attention. Lena spent hours in the co-pilot seat, studying the shifting star maps the mask revealed whenever she touched it. The mask whispered directions, subtle and soft, guiding her through regions she had never studied in the archives. Aaron adjusted their course with quiet skill, never questioning her instructions. Days passed in steady rhythm. Aaron spoke little, but when he did, his words were thoughtful. He told her stories of storms that swallowed entire ships, of travelers who vanished chasing rumors of treasure, and of the quiet beauty found in lonely corners of space. Lena listened closely, realizing that while she knew much about history, Aaron knew the living pulse of the galaxy. One evening, while the ship glided between two silent asteroid fields, Lena held the mask in her lap. The whisper came again, stronger this time. "You are close. The storms will rise soon. Be strong." She shivered. Aaron noticed. "What did it say?" he asked calmly. "That we are close. But storms are waiting for us." He gave a short nod. "Then we prepare." The next days tested them. As they left the safety of known routes, the space ahead grew darker, filled with shifting clouds of energy. Lightning flashed across the void, arcs of blue and white tearing through the black. The ship's sensors crackled with interference, warning of unstable fields. Aaron gripped the controls firmly. "No normal ship would come here. If your mask had not guided us, I would have turned back." Lena held the mask tightly, her knuckles white. The whispers urged her forward, telling her when to turn, when to rise, when to dive. She relayed the words to Aaron, and he followed without hesitation. Each decision carried them past violent bursts of lightning and walls of storm that could have torn the ship apart. Hours passed like this, every moment filled with tension. Lena's heart pounded, yet Aaron remained steady, his voice calm as he confirmed each move she told him. Slowly, painfully, they pushed through the storm. Finally, the mask whispered, "You have arrived." The storm parted. Before them hung a planet, hidden in shadows. Its surface was covered with swirling clouds, yet patches of land glimmered faintly beneath the storms. The sight stole Lena's breath. "That world," Aaron said quietly. "It should not exist. No chart marks it. No record speaks of it. And yet, here it is." Lena's hands trembled as she held the mask. The whisper came one last time that night. "This is the place of secrets. The builders wait." The ship descended slowly, breaking through the upper layers of cloud. Lightning flickered around them, but the mask guided their path safely to the surface. They landed in a wide valley surrounded by towering stone cliffs. Strange ruins rose from the ground, their walls etched with markings that glowed faintly even in the dim light. Lena pressed her hand against the viewport, her eyes wide. "This is real," she whispered. "The ruins, the mask, everything. We found it." Aaron looked at her, then at the ruins. His calm voice carried a weight of respect. "Then our journey is only beginning." The ship settled onto the ground. The engines went silent. Outside, the ruins stood waiting, untouched for ages. Lena felt the mask grow warm in her hands, as if urging her forward. For the first time, she understood the truth. She was no longer a historian studying the past. She was walking into it. And whatever lay ahead, the mask had chosen her to uncover it. The air outside the ship was heavy and strange, filled with a faint metallic taste that clung to the tongue. Lena stepped out first, her boots sinking into soft ground that had not been touched by travelers for ages. The valley was silent, broken only by the low rumble of distant storms. She looked around with wide eyes, her heart beating fast. Ruins stretched before her, tall stone structures that leaned at odd angles but still held their form. Symbols glowed faintly along the walls, like veins of light running through the stone. Some looked like stars, others like flowing rivers, and a few seemed almost like words. She did not know their meaning, yet the mask in her satchel felt warm, as if it understood every mark. Aaron followed behind her, scanning the cliffs with sharp eyes. His hand rested on a tool at his belt, ready for trouble. He was calm as always, though even he could not hide the awe in his voice. These ruins should not still stand. Storms like these should have torn them down long ago. "They are waiting," Lena whispered, without thinking. "For what?" Aaron asked quietly. "For us," she replied, though the answer unsettled her. They moved deeper into the ruins. The stone paths were cracked but still led forward, guiding them like roads built with purpose. Tall pillars rose to the sky, their surfaces etched with patterns that glimmered faintly when Lena passed by. It was as if the ruins recognized her presence. Aaron noticed it too, though he said nothing. At the heart of the valley stood the largest structure of all. A massive archway carved from dark stone rose above them, its top hidden in mist. Beneath it lay a sealed gate covered in golden lines that pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat. Lena felt the mask grow hotter in her satchel. She pulled it out, holding it carefully. The glow from the gate grew stronger in response. Aaron stepped back, watching silently as Lena raised the mask. The whisper filled her ears again. "Place me upon the gate." Her hands shook. "What will happen?" she asked softly. "You will see," the whisper replied. She looked at Aaron. He gave her a single nod, trusting her choice. With slow steps, Lena approached the gate and pressed the mask against its surface. The moment the golden metal touched the stone, light exploded outward. The ground shook beneath their feet, and the symbols across the ruins flared like fire. A deep sound rumbled through the valley, low and powerful, like the earth itself awakening. The gate split open with a slow, heavy motion. Beyond it stretched a dark corridor, its walls lined with glowing patterns. A rush of cool air swept past them, carrying the scent of dust and age. Lena lowered the mask, her hands trembling. "It opened for us," she whispered. Aaron stepped beside her. "Then we go forward." Together they entered the corridor. The walls glowed softly, casting light that needed no lamps. Their footsteps echoed faintly, the sound swallowed by the vast silence. The corridor led them into a chamber so large that Lena could not see its end. Pillars rose into the shadows above, carved with the same glowing symbols. At the center of the chamber stood statues, tall and graceful, arranged in a circle. Each one held a different object in its hands: a star, a flame, a book, a sphere. Lena approached the nearest statue. Its face was carved with fine detail, and though alien in design, it held a strange resemblance to humanity. The cheekbones, the eyes, even the posture felt familiar. She reached out to touch the stone, and once again the mask spoke. These were the builders. They shaped the stars, raised civilizations, and left their gifts behind. But their time ended. They searched for those who would carry their legacy. The words filled Lena with wonder. "Why me? Why humanity?" she asked. "Because you can hear," the mask whispered. "Others came before, but the mask remained silent. Only to you does it speak." Aaron walked slowly among the statues, studying them with calm interest. "If they built all this, then they were far beyond us," he said. "Why would they trust humans?" Lena looked at him, then at the glowing walls. "Perhaps because we are different. Not the strongest, not the oldest, but we endure. We search. We keep going, even when nothing tells us we can." Her words surprised her, yet they felt true. At the far end of the chamber stood another gate, smaller than the first. The mask grew hot in her hands again, urging her forward. She placed it upon the surface, and the gate slid open silently. Beyond lay a smaller room, quiet and dim. At its center stood a pedestal, and upon it rested a sphere of crystal. The sphere glowed faintly with shifting colors, like a captured storm. The whisper filled her mind, steady and clear. "This is memory. This is truth. Place your hand upon it." Lena hesitated. She looked at Aaron, who gave her a calm nod. Slowly, she stepped forward and pressed her hand against the sphere. The world vanished. She found herself standing beneath a sky filled with stars, brighter than any she had ever seen. Around her moved the builders, tall and graceful, their voices echoing in words she could not understand. Yet somehow, she felt their meaning. They were leaving. They were entrusting their knowledge to the future, to whoever could find it. Images flooded her mind. Maps of stars. Worlds alive with strange beauty. Structures that reached from planet to planet. She saw wars they had fought, choices they had made, and finally their quiet departure into silence. Then she saw something else. Humanity. A spark among the stars, small but bright. The builders had known of them, had believed they carried something rare, something the galaxy would need. "You are chosen," the whisper said. "Guard this knowledge. Share it with wisdom. Use it with care." The vision faded. Lena staggered back, her hand slipping from the sphere. Aaron caught her arm before she could fall. "What did you see?" he asked. Lena's voice trembled as she answered. "The truth. They knew about us. They left this behind for humanity." Aaron looked at the glowing sphere, then at her. His calm voice carried quiet strength. "Then you must carry it. The mask chose you. The builders trusted you. Whatever comes next, we face it together." Lena clutched the mask tightly. The chamber around them glowed brighter, as if welcoming her decision. For the first time, she did not feel afraid. She felt ready. The forbidden world had revealed its secret. But she knew this was only the beginning. Others would come. Not all would come with peace in their hearts. And when they did, she would be the one who had to stand. The storm above the forbidden world calmed for a short while, leaving the valley in a rare stillness. Lena and Aaron stood outside the chamber where the glowing sphere rested, both of them heavy with the weight of what they had seen. The mask was silent now, its golden surface dull against Lena's chest. Yet she felt its presence inside her mind, patient and watchful. "We cannot stay here long," Aaron said, scanning the skies with sharp eyes. "If this place is real, others will come. Secrets like these never remain hidden." Lena knew he was right. Word traveled fast across the colonies. Even a whisper of discovery would draw attention. She felt a shiver of unease. The builders had trusted her with knowledge, but what if others demanded it for themselves? They returned to the ship and powered the engines. As the vessel lifted into the sky, Lena's fears came true. A flicker on the scanner showed two ships breaking through the storm above. Their hulls carried the marks of distant colonies, not explorers but treasure seekers. Aaron's voice stayed calm, but his hands tightened on the controls. "We are not alone." The two ships descended, sleek and hungry. A message came through, sharp and commanding. "This world is under our claim. Power down and surrender any artifacts you have recovered." Lena's stomach sank. She looked at Aaron. "What do we do?" "We do not surrender," he said firmly. His calm tone steadied her, though she could see the danger in his eyes. Another message followed, this time colder. "Do not resist. We know you carry something of value. Hand it over, or we will take it." Lena clutched the mask. Its whisper stirred faintly. "Do not fear. Stand firm." Aaron steered the ship away from the ruins, weaving through the storm clouds that still flickered with lightning. The pursuing vessels followed close, their engines bright against the dark sky. "They are faster," Aaron muttered. "We cannot outrun them in open space." Lena thought quickly. The ruins. The storm. The mask guided us through. Maybe it can guide us again. She pressed the mask against her forehead. "Help us," she whispered. "Show us the way." The whisper came, clear and strong. "Follow the path of light. Trust." Suddenly, a faint glow appeared in the storm ahead, hidden among the clouds. Aaron saw it and angled the ship toward the light. Lightning crashed dangerously close, but the glow opened into a narrow corridor through the storm. Aaron flew skillfully, every movement steady, while the pursuing ships struggled to follow. One of them was struck by a violent burst of energy, its hull tearing apart in a flash of fire. The other slowed, unable to match Aaron's daring flight. Soon it disappeared behind the thick clouds. Silence returned to the cabin except for the steady hum of the engines. Lena lowered the mask, her chest heaving with relief. "We escaped. For now," Aaron said. "But they will not stop. They saw us. They know we found something. They will tell others." Lena nodded slowly. She felt the heavy truth of his words. The mask was no longer just her secret. Others would come, stronger and more prepared. Days later, when they left the storm and entered clear space, their ship was hailed again. This time the voice was not harsh but calm, though it carried authority. "This is Captain Yadarin of the Council Explorers. We received reports of unusual activity in the Forbidden Sector. Identify yourselves." Aaron glanced at Lena. "Council ships are different. They do not only seek treasure, but they do seek control." Lena's heart pounded. Should they tell the truth? The mask whispered softly, "Choose wisely." She stood, her voice steady. "This is Lena, historian of the Orbital Archives. We came here for research. We found ruins, but nothing else. There was a long pause before the captain replied. Ruins are of great interest. The council will send teams to examine them. You are to remain where you are until they arrive. Aaron muted the channel and looked at her. They will take everything. Once they see the mask, they will lock it away, and you will never touch it again. Lena gripped the mask tightly. The builder's whispers filled her mind. Guard this knowledge. Share it with wisdom. Use it with care. She whispered to Aaron, we cannot let them take it. It is not just a treasure. It is a message. A trust. If we give it away, we lose what makes it ours. Aaron studied her face, then gave a slow nod. Then we must leave before they reach us. He set the engines to full power, steering the ship away from the council vessel. Warnings filled their screens as the larger ship demanded they halt. Aaron ignored them, his calm hands steady on the controls. The council ship did not fire, but it followed, unwilling to let them escape. Aaron guided the vessel into a field of drifting asteroids, weaving skillfully through the maze of rocks. The council ship, larger and slower, hesitated to enter. At last, its signal faded behind them. Lena exhaled slowly, her body trembling. We are running from everyone now. The treasure seekers, the council, all of them. Aaron's voice remained steady. Then we must decide where to run. The galaxy will not stop chasing. Not until we choose what to do with what you hold. Lena looked down at the mask. Its golden surface reflected her tired face, but in her eyes burned a new strength. She thought of the statues in the chamber, the crystal sphere, the vision of the builders. They had not wanted their secrets buried in silence, nor stolen by those who sought only power. They had wanted something more. The whisper came again, firm and guiding. The choice is yours. Protect the secret, or share it. But share it with care. She understood then. The rival claim was not just from ships and captains. It was from the galaxy itself, from every hand that would reach for power. She had to decide whether humanity would rise as guardians or fall as seekers of treasure. She lifted her eyes to Aaron. We cannot run forever. But we also cannot give this away. We must find a way to share only what is needed. Enough to guide, but not enough to destroy. Aaron gave a small nod. That choice belongs to you. I will stand with you. The ship drifted quietly through the asteroid field, hidden from those who hunted them. In the silence, Lena held the mask close, listening to its faint whisper. She knew the rival claim would not end here. More ships would come, more voices demanding, more threats looming. But she also knew something else. She was no longer afraid. The builders had chosen her. Humanity had been trusted. And she would not fail them. The small ship drifted through quiet space, hidden between the shadows of drifting asteroids. Lena sat in the cabin, the golden mask resting in her lap. Its surface glowed faintly, as if it could feel her unease. Aaron was at the controls, steady as always, though his eyes scanned the stars with sharp caution. They had escaped both treasure seekers and the council, but Lena knew this peace could not last. The mask had given her visions, knowledge of the builders, and a warning that the galaxy would test her. Now the test had come. The question was not whether she could protect the mask, but whether she would keep its secrets or share them. The whisper filled her mind, calm yet firm. The builders gave you trust. What you choose will shape more than your life. It will shape the path of all. Lena closed her eyes. She remembered the statues in the chamber, each holding a symbol of knowledge. She remembered the crystal sphere, pulsing with memory. The builders had left their gifts for someone to find, and she had found them. But had they wanted her to keep the secrets locked, or to spread them among the stars? Her thoughts were broken by Aaron's voice. Two choices lie ahead, he said calmly. We can hide. Find a place far from the trade routes, bury the secret, and live quietly. Or we can step into the light. Share what you have seen. But if we do, many will fight for it. And many will fear it. Lena looked at him. His calm voice always carried strength, but now she could see that even he wondered which path was right. What would you do? She asked. Aaron's eyes stayed on the stars. I am a pilot. My duty is to survive. But this is greater than survival. The builders chose you, not me. The choice is yours. I will follow. His words pressed heavily on her heart. She wanted someone to decide for her, to give her a clear path. Yet the mask was silent now, waiting. It would not command. It would only trust. Later that night, while Aaron rested, Lena held the mask close. She whispered, if I share the knowledge, will it bring war? The whisper answered slowly. Knowledge is a blade. In careless hands, it cuts and destroys. In wise hands, it shapes and builds. We gave you the choice because choice reveals the heart. She sat in silence, thinking deeply. The galaxy was filled with species, each with their own hopes and fears. Some would want power. Some would want safety. Some would want control. If she gave them everything, they might destroy themselves. But if she gave them nothing, they might never grow. The next morning, she and Aaron spoke again. I think I know what I must do, Lena said softly. Aaron turned to her, his calm gaze steady. Tell me. I will share, she said, her voice firm. But not everything. Only the lessons. Only the wisdom. Not the weapons, not the power. The builders did not want their knowledge to be tools of destruction. They wanted it to guide, to inspire. If I hold it all to myself, I betray them. If I give it all away, I betray everyone. But if I give only what is needed, I may keep the balance. Aaron nodded slowly. That path is not easy. Many will demand more. Many will accuse you of holding back. I know, Lena replied. But it is the only way that feels right. The mask warmed in her hands, and the whisper came once more. You understand. The builders gave their legacy not to create rulers, but guardians. You have chosen to guard. The words filled Lena with quiet strength. She finally understood the trust placed upon her. Not long after, their ship was hailed again. This time it was not treasure seekers or the council. A gathering of different ships appeared, carrying banners of many colonies and species. News had spread faster than Lena imagined. The galaxy had come to demand answers. A message came through, the voice of a diplomat sharp and commanding. We know you uncovered ancient ruins. We know you carry knowledge from them. You cannot keep it to yourself. Share it, or face the anger of every power here. Aaron glanced at her. This is the moment. Lena stood, mask in her hands. Her voice was steady as she opened the channel. You are right. I found something. The ruins held the memory of the builders, those who came before. They left a gift, not for treasure or for power, but for guidance. They saw humanity, and they believed we carried something worth trusting. The mask speaks to me because of that trust. Angry voices rose at once. You think only humans deserve it, one demanded. You mean to hoard the secrets, shouted another. Lena raised her voice, calm but firm. No, I will not hoard. But I will not give you weapons or tools to destroy yourselves. What I share will be wisdom lessons the builders left behind. Knowledge to guide, not to harm. If you demand more, you will find nothing. The mask will not speak to you. It speaks only to me. Silence followed. The gathered ships waited, voices muted. Then one diplomat asked cautiously, and if we refuse? If we demand it by force? Lena held the mask close, her heart steady. Then you prove yourselves unworthy of it. The builders tested us, not with strength, but with choice. If you choose fear and greed, you fail. If you choose trust, you rise. For a long time, no one spoke. Aaron's steady hands hovered over the controls, ready in case the fleet attacked. But slowly, one by one, the ships powered down their weapons. The diplomats did not agree, but neither did they strike. The mask whispered softly, only for Lena to hear. You stood firm. You chose well. The builders smile. As the fleet dispersed, Aaron looked at her with quiet respect. You gave them words instead of war. That is harder than fighting. Lena smiled faintly, though her body trembled from the weight of the moment. The choice was never easy. But it was right. The ship drifted once more into open space, free from pursuit for now. Lena held the mask close, no longer afraid. She knew the galaxy would still argue, still demand, still press her. But she also knew the builder's trust lived within her choice. She was no longer just a historian. She was the guardian of a legacy. And for the first time, she believed she was ready for it. The stars stretched endlessly before them, a sea of quiet light after weeks of pursuit and conflict. Lena sat in the cabin of the ship, the golden mask resting in her hands. She no longer felt fear when she touched it. Instead, she felt calm strength, as if the builders themselves stood behind her. Aaron was at the controls, steady as ever. His sharp eyes scanned the readings on the screen, though the space around them was empty for now. No sign of pursuit, he said. The council has pulled back, and the treasure seekers have scattered. For the first time in a long while, it is quiet. Lena nodded, her gaze still on the mask. But it will not stay quiet. The galaxy knows now. They will come again, in different ways. Some will ask with hope, others with greed. Aaron gave a small smile. And you will answer them with wisdom. You already chose your path. She returned his smile faintly. Yes. But one choice is not the end. Each day will bring new ones. The mask warmed in her hands, and its whisper filled her thoughts. You understand. Legacy is not a single gift. It is a journey. What you carry must grow, not rest. Those words guided Lena as days turned into weeks. She began recording what she had learned from the mask lessons, visions, and the wisdom of the builders. She did not write about power or tools of destruction. Instead, she wrote about unity, balance, and trust. Each page was filled with simple words that even a child could understand, for she wanted the message to reach beyond rulers and scholars. Aaron watched her often as she worked. You are turning whispers into a book, he said one evening. Yes, Lena replied softly. A book can travel farther than I ever could. If I fall, the words may remain. When her writings were finished, they set course for a neutral station at the edge of known space. It was a place where travelers of many worlds gathered. Lena stepped onto the station with the mask hidden beneath her cloak and her book of wisdom in her arms. She asked for no throne, no crown, no temple. Instead, she stood in the common hall where merchants, miners, and wanderers gathered. Her voice was steady, her words simple. I found the memory of those who came before us. They left a gift, not of weapons or riches, but of wisdom. They believed we could rise if we learned to listen. This book carries their message. It belongs to all who seek with honest hearts. The crowd was silent at first. Some listened with wonder, others with doubt. But when she left the book upon the table and walked away, people began to read. A miner whispered to his child, a merchant copied passages onto his slate, a scholar requested to translate it into another tongue. The book spread faster than Lena ever expected. Ships carried copies to distant colonies. Schools read passages aloud to young students. Farmers kept fragments carved on wood. Pilots painted words on their hulls. The wisdom of the builders became part of daily life, not as law, but as guidance. And through it all, Lena kept the mask. She never let it fall into greedy hands, but neither did she hide in shadows. She traveled from world to world, sharing her book, speaking in markets, schools, and gathering halls. People came to call her the keeper, though she never claimed such a title. She saw herself only as a messenger. Aaron remained by her side, his steady presence a shield against danger. Many times, others still tried to take the mask. Some sought it for power, some for glory. Each time, Aaron's calm strength and Lena's firm voice kept them safe. One night, after years of wandering, they stood together beneath the stars of a quiet world. The air was clear, and the mask glowed faintly in Lena's hands. Aaron looked at her with a rare softness. "You have given the galaxy something no one can take away. Even if the mask vanished tomorrow, the wisdom you shared would remain." Lena smiled gently. That was always the true gift. Not the mask, not the ruins, but the lessons. The builders trusted us to carry their legacy. Now it belongs to everyone. The mask whispered once more, its voice faint but filled with peace. "You have done well. Our secrets live not in stone, but in hearts. The legacy continues." Lena felt tears rise in her eyes, but they were not of sorrow. They were of quiet joy. She pressed the mask to her forehead one last time and whispered, "Thank you." After that night, the mask grew silent. It still shone faintly, but its whispers faded. Lena understood why. The builder's purpose was complete. Their secrets no longer needed to be spoken, for they had taken root in the minds of many. Years passed. The Book of Wisdom spread across the galaxy, copied in countless forms, each carrying the same simple message: trust, balance, unity. Conflicts still came, for no wisdom could erase all struggle, but the words guided choices in ways both small and great. Leaders quoted them in councils, parents taught them to children, and travelers carried them to new frontiers. Lena grew older, her hair touched with silver, but her spirit remained strong. Aaron stayed with her always, calm and steady as the stars. Together, they saw how the legacy shaped the galaxy. One evening, as they rested in a quiet garden on a colony world, Aaron asked, "Do you ever regret your choice? You could have lived quietly, with no burden." Lena shook her head. "No. The builders gave me trust. If I had hidden their gift, I would have betrayed that trust. Now, even when I am gone, the legacy will remain. That is enough." The golden mask rested beside her, its glow soft in the twilight. She no longer feared its weight. It was not a burden, but a companion. And when at last her journey ended, the mask was placed in a hall of learning, not locked away in secrecy, not displayed as treasure, but kept where children could see it as they studied the words she had shared. The legacy of the builders did not belong to rulers, nor to warriors, nor even to Lena alone. It belonged to all who looked at the stars with wonder and asked how they might walk the path of wisdom. And so, the golden mask that once whispered secrets became silent, yet its voice lived on in the hearts of countless generations. It was no longer only the mask that carried the builder's gift. It was humanity itself.